Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I'd like to talk about collecting for the 7th gen game systems. And I want to just share a little anecdote with you guys. I think I've shared it with you before. But in terms of collecting, I think of myself as a nostalgia collector. I tend to collect systems and games that I had as a kid and just series that I enjoy. There was a time, though, when I did collect for rarity, briefly in about 2006, 2007 maybe. At the time, for some reason, GameStop had some sort of cache of NES games, and I was able to find them in my local area and also at local game stores. So just for the heck of it, I started collecting rare and uncommon titles. For example, I had games like Panic Restaurant and Mega Man 6, which now go for around $500 each loose. Had I kept that collection, I probably would have been able to cash in, fairly big now, maybe even hung on to it for longer, maybe cashed it in later, who knows. But I sold it years ago for like a couple $100, and I don't really regret it. I had needed money at the time, and honestly, in the scheme of things, like having the money back then as opposed to having it now probably was more useful to me in the long run. The collection itself didn't bring me a lot of joy, and it's just not a terribly good investment. Um, but that's not to say that collecting for rarity can't be fun, and I think that there are plenty of reasons to do it. But timing is the most important part. So take collecting for the Super Nintendo. Here I pulled up some charts from PriceCharting.com, and the average game cost has risen from around $8 in 2008 to about $20 here 8 years later in 2016. Now, I've noticed that the troughs in game price for various systems over the years, normally have about a 2 to 4 year window where the prices are the cheapest. So that's what I mean by timing. You really want to hit that few years, where the games are going to be as cheap as they're ever going to get. Now, right now, Generation 7 systems, the Wii, the Xbox 360, the PS3, I would say they're either in or they're approaching their trough period. It could be in a handful of years. For instance, with the Wii, however, games are currently at an average of $7.50. I would say that this is the cusp of its lowest point. On average, the games are going to be between probably $6 to $8 at the lowest, and they're only going to go up from there. The PlayStation 3 and the 360 are both sitting at around $11 right now, average, so they likely have a little farther to fall. However, now is also a time when games are readily available, and certain games are already becoming collectible for various reasons. So there may be some compelling reasons to, not wait, even on systems like the PS3 and 360, if you really want to get some of these games when the getting is good. It's this period in a system's life cycle where I really start to snatch up interesting games. For instance, during this time period for the Dreamcast, that's when I collected over half of the North American library, and it's largely the reason why I was able to go back and finish off a complete collection about 3 or 4 years ago. Had I not done that, sort of initially when the timing was good, I probably wouldn't, have necessarily had a reason to actually acquire a complete Dreamcast collection, which is something that I am really proud of having done. Another exciting thing about this time for 7th gen gaming is that we don't know what's going to be sought after or collectible. Although, people do have theories, and, there are a handful of games that I think are already rising to the top. Due to my current occupation, I have a particular interest in 7th gen games and where the collection scene might be going in the future. Of course, thanks to other YouTubers like Crack Lotus and some folks he's turned me on to, like Derek H, and a couple other folks that I kind of found through those channels, like Michael Young and Collector Fanatic 101, I'm starting to get a feeling for where 7th generation collecting may be headed. And I'd like to share with you, not just what I've gleaned from watching other people's channels, but, research that I've done and games that I've gotten or ones that I'm on the lookout for in a new video series that I would like to call 7th Gen Collecting Voodoo. Now, some collectors that may be watching this video might not be entirely happy with me spilling the beans, so to speak, about, some of these games, that are collectible or may be collectible. But, it's mostly speculation at this point. And for better or worse, this is a small channel, in all honesty. And I think it's safe to say that my viewers, will benefit from the research that I've done, you guys watching this video. And it's not going to affect the collection scene itself overly much. It would be different if Pete Dorr was doing this or something like that, which I think he does every once in a while, or, maybe there's larger YouTubers out there that have that kind of influence. I don't think that's going to happen with these. I'm intentionally not putting rare or expensive or collectible in the titles of these videos. So, so the audience, I think, is going to be, you guys that are currently subscribed to me, and, some hardcore collectors that stumble across the videos. So, hopefully I'll have the first video in this series up shortly after this introduction. I hope that you'll check it out. I'd love to hear what you think of this idea. Like I said, I'm not really a rarity collector, but this is something that I do find really interesting. So I hope that you will, join me for this video series, and let me know what you think, and I hope you'll join me again for more video game and anime related videos. Take care.